Vinny from the Overdose Talk Show. New Orleans police arrested a man this week and charged him with a hate crime and other offenses after police say he damaged a window at a French Quarter hotel and then shouted slurs at a witness and officers. And this is according to the man's arrest warrant. Hate crime against who? Against the police, I guess. I don't think this is going to hold up. I don't think the cops that charged this guy quite understood the law correctly. You know, usually with a hate crime, there needs to be a crime that's aimed at an individual or group. And, you know, it's not just calling someone a name. In most cases, it's you're not charged with a hate crime for any kind of just speech and speech alone. It's usually, you know, if you demonstrate that you're targeting someone while you're committing some kind of crime like an assault or something like that, you know, you're or a harassment even or whatever, but you're, you know, targeting them based on their race, their religion, their sexuality, this or that. So it's not just demonstrating, you know, intolerance or hatred against someone, but I don't think, but it is always open to interpretation by the prosecutor, I guess. So I don't picture this one sticking, and we'll get back into that in a minute, but this all has to do with the Blue Lives Matter bill that passed earlier this year in Louisiana and was signed into law by Governor John Bel Edwards, and the purpose was to add police officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel to the list of protected groups that was named in already existing hate crime legislation. So New Orleans police now, you know, have become the first department to do this. Here's the story. We're going to go to NOLA.com. Raul Delatoba, 34, was booked Monday, September 5th on charges of simple criminal damage to property, disturbing the peace, and a felony-level hate crime. His arrest warrant says. During his arrest, but after he had broken the window, Delatoba is accused of using sexist and racial slurs against police officers. The regional director of the Anti-Defamation League, an organization that trains law enforcement agencies to enforce hate crimes, said she does not believe a hate crime occurred in this incident. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking too, is this isn't going to really go anywhere. But let's see what this guy was up to here. According to arrest documents, Delatoba was drunk and banging on a window at the Royal Sonesta Hotel, 300 Bourbon Street, around 5:15 a.m. Yeah, 5:15 a.m. is not a great time to be around the corner, you know, unless you're like looking for something fucked up to happen. And I don't really think it's as seedy as it used to be when I used to hang out down there, but you know, it might be. How the fuck would I know? I don't go near that place. But when you're down there at that time of night or morning, you will run into extremely fucked up people that can't handle their liquor, that are just in complete robotic psycho mode. And so, yeah, I've seen plenty of things like this. The guy banging on the window for no purpose at all. Just, what are you doing? You know, I mean, it's a hotel. It's probably open. You could probably go in if you wanted. When a witness who heard the banging told him to stop, Delatoba's warrant says he yelled at the witness, calling him an N dash 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 dash. And let me see, how many dashes is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dashes, which does, of course, imply that he used the ER version. If he was just going, this is my question, you know, I've seen stuff like this before where people are demonized, like, yeah, they're yelling the N-word, but like, you know, there's a lot of people out there who aren't, you know, necessarily totally black that are pulling the nigga constantly out, you know, especially when they're really drunk. So I'm wondering, you know, if he really meant it in the fucking, you know, hey nigger, you know, like the fucking classic redneck sense, or if he was just like, oh, you a dumbass nigga, you know. I don't know what this guy's like. Who knows? Let's see, the security guard who works at a nearby building's mezzanine, along with the security supervisor for the Royal Sonesta, flagged down 2 Louisiana state troopers. They escorted Delatoba to NOPD's 8th District Station, and at the station, his warrant says he began to verbally attack members of the New Orleans Police Department. The warrant states Delatoba called one female officer a dumbass cunt, it looks like. I guess they censor their own website here on NOLA.com. And another officer a dumbass nigger. Or nigga. That is where I'm torn here. Let's see. The warrant states Sergeant S. Jackson instructed NOPD officer William Knowles to charge Delatoba with a hate crime in addition to damaging property and disturbing the peace. The hate crime charge stems from Delatoba's attack on individuals based on their race, sex, and occupation. But see, here's the thing. He didn't assault or attack any of the cops. He didn't assault or attack the the hotel guy. I think he broke a window? Was he targeting the window based on the race of the owners of the hotel? I mean, sure, if he's breaking a window and screaming, Jews get out, and, spray painting swastikas, fine. But, and by the way, the Blue Lives Matter law, what are you doing? How are you not all embarrassed of yourselves? I mean, you already have extra protection in most places. I would assume everywhere in the United States. It is not only is it taken more seriously and considered to be a more severe crime in just the way that they treat it in courts when you assault a police officer. I mean, it really is. It's a different law. There's assault, and there's assault on a police officer, which carries heavier and they're most of the time automatically a felony. Most of the time. I think there are some cases where people get out of it and prove that it doesn't warrant a felony charge, whatever. But I mean, there's already extra protection for you guys. I mean, there's even places where they made it a felony to touch a police officer off duty. I think this was in Oklahoma about a year ago. They made a new statute or whatever that makes any assault on an off-duty police officer a felony as well. So I mean, this shit is already ridiculous. You guys have enough protection. You have a total lack of accountability. I know police. Oh, God, they're always bitching about you have to justify every little thing. Blah blah blah. I'm not even talking about the famous ones that are all kind of murky. I've seen 100 on my own. Where cops are either given very light sentences or let off the hook for ridiculous things, or just fired instead of put in prison for ridiculous things, are cleared for shootings that are clearly fucking, please. It's so common, it's ridiculous. And they used a lot of language while they were trying to pass this bill about the war on cops, and anybody who's bothered to look this up has found that in recent years there's been an all-time low in police officers being killed in the line of duty. And I don't always trust those stats about cops killed in the line of duty. I've taken sometimes, from pro-police Facebook pages, they'll post like 15 officers lost in the line of duty and list their names. And I'll look them up, and a majority of them die in car accidents. I swear to God. It's very common. A couple of them, when I was doing that, were killed by deer. Okay? It's not any of our fault. This war on cops myth is particularly ridiculous. An all-time high of cops killing people and an all-time low of people killing cops, and that's a war on cops. I mean, they're completely delusional. People that support police blindly are completely delusional. I'm not even somebody that thinks, there's some good cops and some bad. No, fuck them all, because generally the negative effect they have greatly outweighs the positive effect. And we get into it on the show all the time. When the majority of work you do is just arbitrary code enforcement and has really nothing to do with right or wrong or helping people or any of this heroic bullshit you guys try to push. The majority of the work you do is policing people's controlled substances, which, of course, in my opinion, you have no fucking business doing. And enforcing arbitrary traffic code that just funnels money to a state that you fucking know is corrupt. So, whatever. Not a fan. Don't give a fuck. This whole Blue Lives Matter thing is fucking laughable. I love how cops, they always act like the whole country has gone nuts. How come no one likes us? What happened? They're all influenced by the media. I haven't watched TV in fucking years, okay? I didn't get my opinions from anywhere but my own personal experience with you guys behaving like fucking goons and animals. That's where my experience comes from. And you making the choice, you could say, hey, I just enforce the laws, I don't write the laws. Well, guess what? It doesn't take away the individual accountability of you committing acts which are basically immoral, which I think arresting anyone for drugs is. It's just an immoral act. Whatever. Taking a guy for punching a hotel window, fine. I wish we lived in a society where just stuff like that was dealt with. But yeah, I just don't. I don't do the whole good cops, bad cops thing. Fuck them all. Fuck the job. Fuck the system. Fuck the whole thing. But the just following orders routine does not go very far with me. The fuck? This is just such a childish reaction to the recent, boom in anti-police sentiment in this country. And by the way, if you're wondering, if you don't know me, and this is your first time looking at the channel, whatever, I'm not a fan of police whatsoever. And I've been that way since I was a kid. And we talk about it on the show all the time, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it right now. But that's where I'm coming from. I'm not a new, social justice warrior, Black Lives Matter police protester. I've hated you fucks for fucking 20 years already. For a lot of reasons that I'm just really not going to fucking go into now. So don't bother commenting, doing your bullshit, whatever. We talk about it on the show. I'd rather you just call into the show while we're live one night. That would be fun. So that's where I come from, just to let people know. And even though I'm not part of this newer, easily corralled anti-police movement, it's so clear that this is just a fucking juvenile response. And what do you expect? Anybody who's of average to above average intelligence, who deals with police and has dealt with police in any semi-regular, regular, or you just been arrested a lot. They are the lowest of the low, dumbest of the dumb, most of the fucking time. Just complete childish moron goons. That really just is the fucking majority of most people's experience who I've talked to. So a reaction like this doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Even though, yeah, this guy they arrested, probably a total fucking douche. I have no idea if he was really meaning slinging the old N-word around as a racial slur, if he was just doing it because that's how he talks. I have no idea. And they're definitely not above charging someone with that crime, even knowing how he was using it. Whatever, you get my point. And here's what I was trying to explain before. Louisiana's hate crime statute makes it illegal to commit specific underlying offenses when the victim of those offenses is selected because of their race, religion, sexual orientation, gender, blah, 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 blah. All right, so or because of their actual or perceived employment as a law enforcement officer, firefighter, or emergency services personnel, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of went off on a tangent here. What else about this story? Yeah, I don't see it sticking because he wasn't committing a crime that, calling someone a name is not a crime. And it's not like they made a special law for the police. They just added them to the already existing hate crime legislation, which is it's kind of hard to prove a hate crime. You really have to be just fucking shouting, racial slurs at someone while you beat the shit out of them, which, even that sometimes. I'll tell you one thing. The other night, I was out at the bar, and my girlfriend, of course, has made friends with a gay guy, which just fucking always happens somehow. And of course, it can never just be a guy that's cool, but he happens to be gay. It always has to be the fucking annoying, materialistic, douchebag, fucking stereotype gay guy from the late 90s. And he's like just being such a prick. And then he starts messing around and talking about how he wants to fuck me and stuff, and I'm like, okay, funny, whatever. And he just keeps going on with this weird fucking act about how he's gonna dominate me, to the point where I was like, I kind of had to be like, dude, that's enough of this shit, dude. Shut the fuck up, And in a second, I'm gonna have to do something crazy to prove to you that I can beat the shit out of you if I want, because he was way bigger than me, but I think I could have taken him. And And so anyways, I'm just getting really annoyed by the guy. I told him a couple times, I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. I can joke around a little bit, but do you have an actual personality, or is this just what you do? Anyways, my whole point is I was seeing this developing. It almost got to the point where I was starting to get really angry, and he's too stupid, this fucking guy, to have probably backed down. And if I ended up hating this guy, I probably would have called him a faggot. I guess that's my whole point in this story is, that probably would have came out. Not because I fucking give a shit about gay people one way or a fucking another. I don't give a fuck at all about any kind of people in general like that. That's not what I'm fucking doing. I'm just saying an insult that I fucking think would hurt his feelings, and everybody knows that shit. So when somebody gets mad sometimes, shit comes out of their mouth that they wouldn't fucking walk around saying and they don't really believe in. You know what I mean? So if I punch the guy and call him a faggot, I wouldn't like that to define my my personality in general. It's just that he was getting under my skin. He wouldn't stop just being a fucking creep. And I'm just like, dude, it's not fun anymore. Just fucking, just creeping me out. And I don't want to leave. So you have to stop. Anyways, I'm glad I didn't punch that faggot, because I could have been charged with a hate crime, you see? And that wouldn't have been right. I'm going to go. This has been fun. Catch us on the full episode coming up this week sometime. And yeah, everybody take care.